There's a lot of ways to get started in real estate. Obviously, there's some of us out there that are always promoting, hey, bigger is better, right? Well, me sitting here talking to you, if it's your first deal about going out and get a 300 unit apartment building, might not be realistic for you. Hey, I don't like to use realistic or not realistic. Everything's realistic. You just got to put in the effort, find a way. There are a lot of people out there who their first deal was a 300 unit deal, believe it or not. If you can't wrap your head around it, if you're, needing to find a different way to get your foot in the door, there are so many different ways to get involved with real estate, and it can be hands-on or hands-off. Either way can lead to winning results, right? Now, hands-on, how many different ways could you get involved in real estate? Well, you could invest in your own deal, and it could be a small Airbnb property. It could be a lake frontage or some destination that people love, and it could be, more of a short-term rental. You have a management company that manages it, and that's how you get in to the game and start, earning cash flow, building equity, paying down debt on that property, and potentially moving to the next Airbnb. My thoughts, I'm gonna share positives, ways that you can kind of get in, but also, the negatives too. My negative thoughts with your first property being an Airbnb, and if you only have one property, it's not much scale. Number two, what if there's a big change in the economy, which right now there's a lot of questions in the economy with what's going on. People are like, are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? What's going to happen in the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? And so if you're in Florida and you have an Airbnb that's, intercoastal waterway frontage, ocean frontage, whatever it might be, those Airbnbs will take a bigger hit through recession than my apartment buildings, for example, because the difference is my residents in my apartment buildings that's where they're living. So they're going to pay their rent there, and they're going to obviously be there and occupying those spaces. But there's going to be a lot less people that are going to be looking to occupy Airbnb or short-term vacation rentals if there's a huge recession coming, or if we're in a recession right now, or if there's a lot of unknowns out there, right? So that's a risk. And if no one rents your property, then what? Do you have the reserves on hand to be able to make it through 6 months of zero people renting, or 12 months of the rents getting cut in half and the number of nights getting cut by 25%? Do you have the cash? What's your plan if something goes sideways? Every single deal that I do, I try to make a plan. Okay, if it goes sideways, if our occupancy goes down, if our collections go down. And it's a good thing that I did that, and I at least look at that, because we've had certain deals that struggle during certain points of time, right? We still pay distributions because we have scale there and because we plan for it. If we would have never even looked in those scenarios, it would have been a huge surprise, would have caught us off guard if those projects started to slide the wrong way. Another way that you can go about getting involved in real estate, and we actually have someone on our staff at Spalding Group that this is what they've been doing, is you can go buy a single family home, live in it, and improve the value, redo the kitchen while you're living in it, new appliances while you're living in it, new paint while you're living in it, then move out of that one and go rent that one out, and then go buy another one. And that second one might be a duplex or a 3 unit or a 4 unit or a 6 unit. But by you living in the property, a lot of times you can get a lot better financing because it's owner occupied. Then what you do, you're now building some momentum, right? Because maybe you started that single family home first, you got the very favorable financing, you live in it for a year, you fix it up, you bought it, for $50,000 a month, and then you can turn around and you can maybe rent it for $12,000, or you can maybe rent it for $1,200 to $1,500 per month, right? Move on to the next project. When you're moving on to the next project, that single family home is, your debt's getting paid down, you're getting cash flow from it, hopefully it's staying full, right? You've moved on. And with the duplex or the 4 unit, if you live in one of those units, you're going to then be able to rent out the other half of the duplex or the other 3 units. You're going to get the very favorable financing. And again, you kind of rinse and repeat, right? And then at that point, you might be able to package those things together, sell them off, and now jump into a 16 unit building, jump into a 24 unit building with those proceeds. The negatives of doing all of what I just said is, again, there's not a lot of scale there. So if you move out of that single family home into the duplex, you're probably going to have to put money into the duplex one way or another to be able to improve it. If you're looking to do value add real estate, which is how a lot of us get started. A lot of us, when we're just starting, we're not going into some class A or fancy property. We're looking to add value. So you're going to have to be able to find capital during that time, right? And if you have the capital to be able to do it, what if when you first buy that duplex, let's say day one you buy it, and the tenant that you had in your single family home for a month, they're not paying the rent, you got to evict them, they just leave, and it's hard to rent. Maybe it's not rented for 2 months because they destroyed the place, right? And maybe because you have to add value to the duplex, the other side is not ready for rent for another month because you've got to take care of things there. what happens to your cash flow situation then? Where's that coming from? The other way that you can actively get involved is not actually by investing at first, but we get people reaching out to me all the time that are looking for a job in real estate. Maybe they graduated with a real estate degree. Maybe they're just super interested in real estate. And obviously the way that we're growing, we always have opportunities. So some of these guys and gals, they want to get involved with us to be able to learn the game, and they want to be a leasing specialist to start, or a property manager to start, or a property accountant to start to learn how we operate and to start to learn the real estate game. At the same time, continue to learn outside of work as well, reading books, getting involved in networking with other people in the industry, and starting to save up their money. So when they get a job with us, if they make $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $7,000 a month, $6,000 a month, they save until they can then buy once they feel comfortable. And again, maybe they buy the short-term rental, maybe they buy the one, the single family home, the 4-unit, or maybe they want to invest with someone else, right? So maybe they have another family member that knows what they're doing and they just want to learn the game first, feel comfortable, and then give the money to that person. So you can also be involved passively in the beginning, right? And being involved passively, you can still learn a lot. So we've got a lot of people that they are successful business people. They want to get more involved in real estate, and instead of like going out and learning the game themselves and have to be the leasing specialist, the manager, the service tech, and go buy a 16-unit all by themselves or a 100-unit all by themselves right out of the gates, they'll write a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $600,000 check in with us for one of our deals, and they'll see the results. They'll start to see what we're doing. They'll then start in absorbing this actually happens. They'll absorb my content as we go through the deal, and they see the progress that happens. And then what happens in the future is they feel comfortable to go invest in their own deals as well. So if they have this equity, or they keep getting equity coming in and saving up, and they'll split it. They'll split and they'll take some of their equity, they'll go do their own deals that are smaller. And they'll go, or different from what we're doing, right? We don't do the short-term rentals. We don't do Airbnbs. So maybe while they have $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million with us, maybe they've got their own $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 that they take with themselves and go do, industrial, or go do something that we don't do. Go do Airbnb, go do single family homes, go do duplexes, 4 units. And that now they're learning through watching us and being involved with us, and their capital is growing with us, but also they're learning a little bit of a different aspect of it by doing it themselves. So they kind of do both. The other way is if you're super successful and if you're making 200, 500, $1 million, $10 million a year, and you just don't care about actually going out and doing your own deals, but you want to get started in real estate, you can just write checks all day long to groups like us. Now, if you do this, what a lot of smart people do that have, maybe it's a business owner that's got $10 million a year coming in of excess cash flow that they need to put to work because they don't want to just get destroyed by inflation, they might pick 2, 3, 4, 5 guys like myself in different parts of the country, and just always, every single deal, allocate $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 per deal for every single deal that I have, for every single deal the guy that's just like me in a different part of the country has, so that they're a little bit more diversified across different real estate investments. So that's another way to get involved. So I think the main thing when it comes to getting started and how you get started in real estate is to not delay and get started today. The saying is there's no better time to buy real estate than yesterday. The second best time to buy real estate is today. And you want to limit how much you're just delaying and pushing off into the future. You don't want to say, hey, I'm going to wait 2 years. I'm going to wait a year. I'm going to wait 5 years. The faster that you can get started and get your foot in the door, however that is, the better it's going to be for you from a standpoint of what you're learning, and also the cash flow you're going to get and the equity that you're multiplying. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't. Keep checking out our Want to Know Wednesdays. Keep checking out Ballin with Spalding. Please leave comments. Like the videos. Let us know what you want to see more of in the comments. Let us know what you want to see more detail of, and we'll be sure to get that to you in the coming weeks.